Good day everyone, I'm Carmela F. Ambrosio and for today's video, ipapakita ko sa inyo yung naisip ko or na-construct ko na geometric model representing a binary operation which is similar to plus sign algebra or triangle algebra. Then first thing na gagawin natin is to define each element and the result of each operation by constructing a table. Next, we need to determine the identity element of the binary operation and also the inverse of each element and justify why such element is its inverse. And finally, we need to show whether the binary operation is commutative and associative. So ito yung naisip ko na geometric model which is a clock. Yung hour hand ng clock natin is nakatapat sa 12. So originally, yung time ng clock natin is 12 o'clock. Now, for letter A, let us define each element and the result of each operation. So, ito yung list ng ating 12 possible moves. First is yung 12. So, kapag yung element natin is 12, ibig sabihin from 12 o'clock, yung ito-travel ng hour hand natin is 12 hours. So, parang do nothing lang siya kasi babalik lang sa original position yung hour hand natin, which is naka-point out sa 12. Then, kapag naman yung element natin is 1, it means mag-stop yung time after 1 hour. So, hindi ganun kahirap tandaan yung moves kasi kung ano lang yung element natin, ganun lang din yung number of hours na ita-travel nung hand ng clock natin. So, kapag 12 siya, after 12 hours. Kapag 1, after 1 hour. Kapag 2, after 2 hours. And so on. Then, next thing na gagawin natin is i-operate natin yung mga elements by following each move. So, una natin i-operate is yung element sa outer left column and followed by the element in the outer top row. So, by doing that process one by one, ito yung outcomes na makukuha natin. Next, for letter B, let us determine its identity element. So, to find the identity element in a table, first, look for a row that matches the elements in the outer top row. So, here it is. Yung first row sa ating outcomes, yun yung nag-match sa mga elements sa ating outer top row. Now, after that, let us look for a column that matches the elements in the outer left column. So, eto siya. After ng row, yung column naman natin. Then, finally, the intersection of these two is what we call the identity element. So, as we can see, nag-intersect sila sa 12. So, it means that yung 12 is the identity element. Next, for letter C, the inverse of each element naman yung hahanapin natin. So, we have A star inverse of A and inverse of A star A, which are both equal to E, wherein yung E natin is yung identity element natin, which is 12. So first, for inverse of 12, hanapin lang natin kung ano ba yung kasama ni 12 na kapag inoperate natin, yung outcome is 12. So, di ba ang first element na i-operate natin is yung dito sa outer left column. So, mag-start lang tayo kay 12 and hanapin natin yung inverse niya. So, alin ba yung column na kung saan belong si outcome na 12? So, di ba ito? So, it means the inverse of 12 is 12. Next, for inverse of 1 naman, hanapin din natin yung outcome na 12. Then, kung saan siya nakatapat, yun yung inverse niya. So, the inverse of 1 is 11. So, as we can see, vice versa lang sila ni 11. Yung inverse ni 11 is 1. So, ganun lang yung process. So, the inverse of 2 is 10. The inverse of 10 is 2. The inverse of 3 is 9. The inverse of 9 is 3. The inverse of 4 is 8. The inverse of 8 is 4. The inverse of 5 is 7. The inverse of 7 is 5. And the inverse of 6 is 6. Next, for letter D, let us show whether the binary operation is commutative and associative. So, for commutativity, the binary operation star in a table is commutative if the elements are the reflection of one another in the leading diagonal. So, yung tinutukoy na leading diagonal is eto. So, kailangan para masabi na commutative siya, dapat yung mga elements ng both side are the reflection of one another. So, to show this, kunin natin yung portion na to. Then, i-flip lang natin siya, which is same position dapat neto. So, ganito siya. So, now, tignan natin kung same ba sila ng element. Sa column ni 1, we have 1. So, same sila. Sa column ni 2, we have 2 and 3. So, same din sila. Sa column ni 3, we have 3, 4, 5. So, dito naman, we have 3, 4, 5. So, same lang din sila. So, kung papakatitigan natin mabuti, same lang silang lahat. So, if nagda-doubt kayo, free to pause this video and i-check nyo sila isa-isa. But it is actually a reflection of one another. So, it means that it is a commutative. Then lastly, for associativity, the binary operation star in a table is associative if we got the same elements of the original outcomes after rotating and changing the order of the elements. So, para mas maintindihan natin, let me show it to you. So, ayan siya. Ang ginawa ko, nirotate ko itong original table natin ng 180 degree. Then, since originally, yung operation natin is nandito sa outer left column and outer top row, ililipat lang natin sila. So, kahit ilipat natin, di naman maaapektuhan yung outcomes nila, kaya okay lang. So, yung magiging itsura niya is ganito. As we can see, hindi sila similar ng outcomes. So, yung goal natin para maging associative, kailangan maging similar sila. So, para magawa yon, ipag-change natin yung mga rows and columns nila. So, dito muna tayo sa columns. So, ang una natin gagawin is gayahin itong row ni 12. So, kailangan yung position nila, dapat mauuna si 12, followed by 1, 2, 3, up until 11. So, to do this, ipag-change lang natin yung column ni 11 sa 1 para si 12 mapunta dito. Then, si column 10 naman kay column 2 para si 1 mapunta dito. So, ganun lang siya. Ipag-change lang natin sila para maging similar sila dito sa row na to. So, after doing that, ganito na yung magiging itsura niya. So, same na sila. Then, after ng changing the order of columns, proceed naman tayo sa mga row. So, ang gagayahin naman natin ngayon is itong column ni 12. Yung kailangan nating i-achieve ngayon is dapat yung dito, similar siya dito sa 12, 1, 2, 3, up until 11. So, yung changing of rows na gagawin natin, si row ni 10, ipag-change kay 12 para mapunta dito si 1. Then, si row naman ni 9, ipag-change kay row ni 1 para mapunta si 2 dito. So, ganun lang din. Gagayahin lang natin yung columns na ito. So, kapag nagawa na natin yon, yung magiging result natin is magiging ganito. So, as we can see, even though yung arrangement ng ating elements sa ating operation is magkakaiba, same naman sila ng outcomes. So, it means that this binary operation is also associative. So, that's it. Again, I'm Carmela F. Ambrosio, and thank you for listening.